Hi guys, thanks for clicking on my video. My name's Genesis, aka Sega Octopus Online. I bring you another time-lapse video, and this one is inspired by the Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages and Seasons games that came out for the GBA in 2001. After I did my Link's Awakening video, I had a rush of memories come back to me from these games in particular, because I did have these games as a kid when they came out. The Link's Awakening game I didn't play until I was an adult, so there's definitely a bit more, how can I explain it, just more history with me with these games in particular. Although I feel like the story is less impactful, I think that the game in general and the dungeons are probably some of the best Zelda stuff I've played. For example, like the dungeons are probably my favorite thing in the game. I usually don't like playing the dungeons, like they usually feel like the homework of Zelda whenever I'm playing them, because I want to be roaming outside exploring all the time. But I really looked forward to all the dungeons in this game in particular. I really think they push the limits of the 2D space that they use in the Game Boy Advance. I just really think they went all out as far as creating very unique just experiences in the dungeons. In particular, like certain weapons are also very creatively used. One in particular that's really interesting to me is the magnet glove. And this magnet glove, you can bring things towards you, but you can also use it to make Link jump over ledges, but it's kind of like it just makes Link go towards the magnet. And nothing like that, no weapon like that has ever been in Zelda until maybe like Breath of the Wild. So I just think these games in particular were a little bit ahead of their time. They just pushed creative boundaries very nicely. I recently played Seasons and I still had some trouble with some of the later dungeons. So yeah, I think this game has aged very well. It'll still give you a challenge with all the dungeons. I mean, Ages is full of puzzles. I like playing Seasons a little more just because of probably the ability to jump. Although you can jump in both of the games with the Rock's Feather. In Seasons, you're able to upgrade the Rock's Feather into the Rock's Cape, which lets you jump over ledges and also kind of float over them. And it's just super fun to move Link and make him float over everything when you get it. Also, another game element that I really enjoy is the little animal friend that you're able to get, and you can choose between like a kangaroo that has like boxing gloves, or a little, I think he's a Dodongo, the little Dodongo guy, and he like swims and he can swim up waterfalls. And then the last little guy, he's like a blue bear with little wings and he can just kind of fly over things too. And I just think all those little animals are really unique. I almost wanted to do or incorporate them into this new piece that I did. I might do another one, I don't know. But what I really enjoy about them is that, you know, they have their little color coordinations, and that's what really inspired this new piece that I did. I wanted this piece to seem, or I wanted them to feel like a team. I wanted the Oracle girls to feel like the Powerpuff Girls, or like the Totally Spies girls, where they had like, each of them has their own room and their own color coordinated thing, and they're just badass. And I just wanted that to come through in this painting. Like, if they would make a show like that, I would be so happy. Just because they don't really go too much into their story, and I'm like super curious about the oracles in general, and especially them as people. And that's where the game kind of lacks in stuff for me, is like the fact that the story could have been a little more in depth. I mean, you don't see the oracles very much at all in the game, especially in seasons. Like, they just kind of steal Din in the very beginning, and then you don't see her until way later. You don't even really see the bad guy Onyx in that game very much either. He just kind of steals her and then messes up all the seasons, and then like you don't really see him until like maybe later in the game. So I would really appreciate like more story. I know there's the manga and stuff, but even there's not much of a story. I wish they would maybe do like a little story, what happened afterwards when things were fixed. They had a big party together or something. But at least in Ages, you get to see Nero getting like possessed. So that was kind of cool. I think the Ages story is a little more interesting, and it makes me think a little bit. And especially in particular, the bad guys, the Varen and Onyx, remind me so much of like Midna's adult form, the Twilight form of her. She totally reminds me of Varen, and then like Onyx reminds me of that other guy with all his armor on. So if you go see Twilight Princess's bad guys, you can kind of see the resemblance of these bad guys in it. Just makes me think a little bit more about the story, and maybe, you know, after they did all this stuff, the oracles banished them to the Twilight Realm or something like that. But The Legend of Zelda always seems to keep things pretty vague as far as like what happened and stuff. So I think it's a great way to have people speculate on what happened in between the games and all, and see relationships between some of the designs on later games, or just influences that older games still have on the newer games. It's very, very interesting to me. So yeah, if you ever have a chance to play these games through, the way you're supposed to play them is like you choose one of them, either Seasons or Ages, and then you beat it completely, and then you're supposed to enter in like passwords into the other game to just continue the story. It basically just makes it go to another save file, and it remembers some of the things that you did in the one game into the other game, which changes little things about the new game that you've played. For example, you get to name a little kid in the game if you talk to these parents in the main little village, and it'll remember that little boy, and he'll be grown up in the second game. And it's just really neat. I really thought that experience was really unique as a kid, especially. It made me really feel like I was looking for secrets, and on top of the password system being extremely complicated, I remember I did get like some Nintendo Power thing to help me out as a kid to get through that. But all in all, it was super fun. I really enjoyed these games a ton. If you ever get a chance to, please play them. So thank you for hearing my little ramble on these games. I wanted to let you guys know that I do have prints available on my Etsy store. You can find me under Sega Octopus all throughout the internet, as far as like Twitter, Instagram, Etsy, all that stuff. It's just under Sega Octopus. I would really appreciate if you could check out some of the prints that I have. And recently I was able to get access to my local library's like media center, and it's really awesome. I'll be able to make better quality prints. I'll be able to record these videos a little more frequently now because I have quiet space and I'm able to do these things a little more freely. So I'm really excited to do that, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any suggestions for like other video games, or want to talk about video games in general, I am always here and up for talking about video games and characters and stories and all that fun stuff. Or art stuff too. I know I haven't talked too much about my processes because they haven't really changed too much. I'm using still the same watercolor sets. I still use the same kind of pens. So if you guys have any questions on that, just let me know. I'm always willing to share any information, techniques that I'm using. So yeah, let me know. I also wanted to give just a little shout out to my Patreon supporters. I really appreciate you guys helping me out, making me feel more confident, and me painting stuff for you guys, which is my favorite thing to do. So big shout out to Michael, Eric, and Travis. Thank you for your support and encouragement. Really appreciate it. And to everyone who listened to the end of this video, thank you. You guys have a good day, and hopefully I'll be back with another video next month. Bye bye.